In that case, we can recognize some changes in the history of post-war Germany, and we have to recognize that there have been two German states after the Second World War, and in Eastern Germany, with a socialist orientation, there was clear from the very beginning that that the Nazi movement coming from the far right and had a cooperation with the reactionary circles from the army and the cooperation with the monopoly capital. And so for that reason, there was from the very beginning an anti-fascist education in school in Eastern Germany. There was no one really talked about that period between 1933 and 1945 and what was going on in Germany. Yeah, after that time, after 1968, it became very important to, in school, talking pupils what was going on between 1933 and 1945. And so for nearly everyone, it's clear what was happening at that time. Preparing war, the elimination of the European Jews. Yeah, it's interesting, but because within the left, within the German left especially, but within the left in Europe, we are arguing for the reasons of upcoming of the far right, and we have no certain answer. But one fact is that the far right is able to channel existing anger and existing discontent in neoliberal societies, and they're able to do so mostly better than left parties are able to do so, because many left parties during the last 20 years made a strong neoliberal politics, and people lost. People couldn't trust these left-wing parties anymore, and so they. So it's such a silly thing to claim that Nazis could have been a left-wing movement, because it's simply clear that the Nazi movement was from the very beginning funded with money and supported from important military circles, funded and supported by the monopoly capital, for example, from the owners of big steel factories, but with the aim to gather people from the working class. And for that reason, you can explain the name of this party, Nationalsozialistische Arbeiterpartei Deutschlands, which seems to be left-wing, but it's only a fraud, it's only false labeling, sounding like a party from the workers' movement, but in fact it was a party from an extreme right-wing party with aims in interests of monopoly capital, which means gathering masses to support strategy of monopoly capital, destroying the workers' movement, and preparing a war. So if there are certain people from Germany recognizing that there is this silly debate, for example, in Brazil, they would say that's bizarre, because usually no one would claim that in Germany would claim that the Nazi movement is left-wing. That's completely clear for nearly everybody that that Nazi movement is extreme right, and that this only a false labeling, Nationalsozialismus, which is demagoguery. But in fact, there is a tiny minority of far-right politicians and historians claiming that Nazis are coming from the left, but their only aim is to mark a difference between them and Nazis, where in fact is no difference, no big difference.